And we're back. This is In Your State and On Your Screen, your no bullshit guide to how your state is or isn't protecting your digital rights. And we are back with the M states, starting with Minnesota. This one's a sleeper hit. There are no headlines, no drama, but it quietly passed one of the strongest privacy laws in the country that went into effect this year on July 31st. It's called the Minnesota Consumer Data Privacy Act. On the surface, Minnesota's law gives you the usual rights to access, delete, or correct your data, to opt out of targeted ads, data sales, or profiling, and to know who's collecting your information and why. But here's where Minnesota goes further. Automated decision making. It gives you the right to question automated decisions made about you, like getting denied from a loan, housing, or even being filtered in what news you see. That is direct accountability for AI-powered decision-making systems in credit, employment, education, and beyond. This right is extremely rare, and it's going to matter a lot more as AI systems continue to get baked into everything, and most states have not even touched this. Here's how you can actually apply this right. You can submit a request to the company, also known as a controller, by asking, was this decision made entirely by an algorithm with no human involved? You can demand transparency. If the answer is yes, you have the right to ask, what information did you use? What logic in the system did you follow? They're supposed to give you a meaningful explanation, not just lines of code, but enough context so you understand why behind the outcome. You can also ask for the decision to be reviewed by a person, which means a human has to take another look and you can't just rely on the machine's output. You can also save your request and their response. If they blow you off or give you nonsense, you can file a complaint with the Minnesota Attorney General's office because this right is enforceable by law. And this is so much bigger than just you and us. If you're a community organizer, advocate, if you're working in housing, education, and hiring, knowing this right exists means you can help protect people from automated discrimination. When algorithms are trained on biased data, they don't fix inequality, they scale it. So having a law that says, no, you can't make a major decision about me with a black box algorithm, that is power. Minnesota is catching up to the fact that data-driven discrimination is already here. Whether it's predictive policing, social credit systems, or AI sorting job applications, the stakes are already high. This law builds guardrails before harms get worse. I absolutely love what Minnesota is doing with this, and I hope that other states can use this as precedents. Up next, we have Mississippi, and let's just say it's a very, very different story. Mississippi has no comprehensive data privacy law. None of the big consumer rights you see in other states, like knowing what data companies have on you, asking to delete it, or opting out of targeted ads are in place. And while other states are debating facial recognition bans or AI transparency, Mississippi hasn't passed a single significant bill to protect your digital rights. Why does this matter? Because without state-level protections, you're relying on corporate policies, not laws. And that leaves communities wide open to location tracking, especially in rural and underserved areas. Predatory data sales with zero accountability, AI decision-making that impacts job access, housing, loans, with no way to push back. And the people most at risk are marginalized, low-income, and rural communities who are more likely to be tracked, targeted, and digitally excluded. So until the law catches up, your best defense is personal protection. Use encrypted tools, talk to your state reps, and for easy to understand digital safety resources, a shameless plug, head to cybercollective.org because right now, Mississippi is truly in the digital dark ages. Missouri. Missouri has introduced privacy legislation in multiple sessions, but nothing's crossed the finish line. Recent attempts like the Missouri Data Privacy Protection Act have included the right to know and delete data, opt-outs for sales and profiling, but these bills have consistently stalled in committees or died in session. That means right now, Missouri also doesn't have clear digital rights, which makes this tricky because of Missouri's big healthcare and fintech presence. Without a statewide law, people's data is scattered across providers, apps, and third parties, and there's little transparency or control. And last but not least for our M states is Montana. Montana might not have a massive population, but it does have real privacy law. In May 2023, the Montana Consumer Data Privacy Act passed and took effect October 1st, 2024. It gives residents the right to access, correct, delete, and opt out of personal data processing. There's also protection for sensitive data like race, religion, and health information requiring consent to collect. There's a ban on processing kids' data for targeted advertising, and enforcement of your rights through the state attorney general's office. Montana also aligned its law with national models, making it easier for companies to comply across states, but it still kept stronger than average consumer rights. This shows that even rural, conservative-leaning states can take privacy seriously. Montana proves that you don't need to be a coastal or tech-centric to protect people's digital agency. Stay tuned next week where we hit the end states.